What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Rally Check here with your NXT Great American Bash 2023 preview. Yeah, we're dipping our toe back in the NXT pond for just a bit because I think this show looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Want to nail out two things really quick before we start. One of them's kind of cool, one of them's kind of not, so I'm going to start with the one that's not first. I was all over Twitter today, or should I say X. Find me on X, guys, at Spaz Phoenix. Just today, there's been a lot of diatribe coming at WWE, coming at NXT for the pay-per-view, for the name of the pay-per-view. And it's this generic, oh, of course, they gotta stick America in the name, like it's a new thing. And I'll get to that in a second. But it always strikes me as being really weird, because as you guys know, as most of you guys know that have been listening to me for a long time, I don't live in America. I live in Canada. I'm happy to be Canadian. I'm proud to be Canadian, all that kind of thing. I don't, sit there with the salute out when the, the red, white, and blue comes out, because that's not for me. But at the same time, I'm still looking forward to the Great American Bash. I cannot, and I will not. Every group of people, no matter what conversation you are having, has assholes in it. I absolutely cannot jump on the automatically America bad thing. I mean, some of the stuff that was going on in 2020, we could talk about that, but we're not going to do that. I can't. I've had friends from the States. I've had friends move to the States. I've had family in the States. You guys know that have listened to this channel. Every single co-host that has ever been on this channel has been an American. I've interacted with way too many of you on social media, on Instagram or on X. That's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it? To ever hop on the bandwagon of, why'd they have to stick America in the name? First of all, it's an American company. It's like the people that lose their shit every single time we come around to WrestleMania time and they make the announcement of who's going to sing the American anthem. Oh, America's sticking their culture down our throats. I just skip it. It's an American company. It's a worldwide company. Don't get me wrong, but it's based in the States. There's going to be some American influence. I hate to tell you. Whatever company you watch, I'm pretty sure WWE is more diverse than them. And if you want to talk about somebody putting something in a name, shoving another country down people's throats, at least it's not in the name. I don't know anything about New Japan, and this is not a slam at New Japan, but WWE didn't all of a sudden come along and call itself New America. New America Wrestling. That's not WWE, and I'm sorry, WWE is a hella more diverse on every single spectrum you can talk about than AEW is. It just is. Now, the other part of this is people are snapping on it this past week, this past couple of days, like it's a brand new thing. Great American Bash was a WCW pay-per-view. It got adopted by WWE, and good for them, because all of WCW got adopted by WWE because they lost, like AEW is going to in a couple years. Spoiler alert. They went along for a long time, and I don't know what the reason was. Maybe somebody kicked off back then too, but eventually it got shortened to just The Bash, which was lame. It was really lame, and then it got mothballed completely. And then primetime, proper, good rock and roll skulls and crossbones NXT resurrected it as not a pay-per-view, but as a brand for an elevated weekly episode of television. Much like AEW would do Winter is Coming, House of the Dragon. They did, Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen. Now they do, what do you call it? The Battle for the Belts or whatever. An elevated weekly episode of television. And that was cool for a long time because you had, for a while there when they did it, you had NXT Great American Bash Night 1 and Night 2 spread out over 2 weeks. So it made it feel a little bit different. And I mean, realistically speaking, we haven't gotten takeovers back yet, but they've finally brought this back to being a proper PLE. So it's not bad because it has America in the title. Sorry, hate to tell you. Hey, from the super nice neighbors from the north, it's not bad to have America in your name. It's just not. And second of all, it's not new. But the people that I'm preaching to right now are also the people right now that are really upset about a certain country singer writing a certain country song. And I'm just going to leave that where it is. Just leaving that where it is. Say whatever you want. Add whatever you want to the conversation. I'm probably going to just swipe it off anyways. The other thing I was going to say, and I don't review NXT on a weekly basis, as you guys know. I do do a couple quick notes if something of significance happens, like Dominic Mysterio becoming the North American champion. And Judgment Day being there in general is kind of cool, because I'm wickedly biased. But I said last week on my episode of WWE last week that it was really kind of weird that Rhea Ripley was taking on this mentorship role to Lyra Valkyria, who is a babyface, and Rhea Ripley is awesome. I think she kind of exists sort of above face, above heel, and all that kind of thing. But she's in a heel faction, and she got challenged by Lyra Valkyria after Raw. It was done on a WWE exclusive, whatever. I didn't see it either, don't worry. But then they had a really wicked match and beat the shit out of each other on NXT last night. I should say, recording this on Wednesday night before Dynamite. I'm recording this on Wednesday. You guys are going to get it on Friday. The pay-per-view is happening on Sunday. There's a big window for something to change, for something to be added, for something to be canceled, whatever. So if this isn't as accurate as it should be by the time we get to the actual pay-per-view, I'm sorry, but this is when I have time to sit down and do stuff. I'll probably do a review as well, depending on what happens. Bottom line, my reason for mentioning that, not only was the match kick ass, and not only did Lyra Valkyria have a real coming out moment in defeat, Rhea Ripley is I've said it since the Mae Young Classic. I said it since the Mae Young Classic 2. I've said it since NXT UK. I've said it since good NXT. I've said it since she's been to the main roster. I've said it since she's been part of the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley, fucking star. Bigger than Cody Rhodes. I'll say it. Yeah, I'll say bigger than Cody Rhodes. And hey, I like Seth Rollins. Rhea Ripley looks better with that title than Seth Rollins does. I'm just saying. The what do you call it? The bloodline is about to fall. The Judgment Day is clearly the next big thing in WWE. They've been 1A since they started, but now they are going to be 1. And I like the fact that they're using Dominic Mysterio and his title as an excuse to get them across all 3 brands again, because clearly they're getting ratings on all 3 shows. Somebody did a graphic, and it was a bit mean, and I'm sorry, I shared it because I'm an asshole, but they took, like, the ratings for Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, Battle of the Belts, and something else in a given week, and it didn't even equal the ratings on SmackDown, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like, I couldn't even laugh. I was like, that's kind of bad. But on the other side of the coin, Dave Meltzer came out earlier today or later last night, whenever the tweet went out, and said in the past week, 2 wrestling companies have put out 6 shows, and 4 of those 6 shows have been the top in their respective time brackets, and the ones that weren't were number 2 at the beginning and number 1 by the end. So overall, all my shitting on AEW aside, because at least they have Collision, wrestling as a whole is doing fucking awesome right now. And that's, like, awesome. A number for awesome now is not what a number for awesome was back then, because nobody watches television and everybody's going over to streaming and rod. You can't really measure ROH, and you can't, there's all these funky factors, but, like, they're kicking everybody's ass. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Collision, not Rampage, because Rampage sucks ass. But all of it is kicking ass. I have my preferences, I have my ridiculous biases, but everything is kicking ass, and I'm sorry, once again, I'm a huge fan of Edge, but the Judgment Day, according to every measurable metric and every reliable source on the internet, the Judgment Day blew out of the water the ratings effect that Edge had on NXT in the times that they've been there, and Dominic Mysterio with a belt is just funny as well. I'm just saying, to have him win it on Tuesday, defend it on Friday on SmackDown, and then defend it on Monday this week is awesome. And I do like Dominic Mysterio. Rhea Ripley's a fucking star. Like, I hate to say it. What's it called? Finn Balor could go down with another injury. Not that I want it to happen. Damian Priest could go down with another injury. Not that I want it to happen. Dominic Mysterio could be taken out of the equation. Not that I want it to happen. Rhea Ripley is a bigger star than the Judgment Day, but she's also the best thing in the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley's fucking awesome. My point being, this match that she had with Lyra, who is still a relative unknown unless you watch NXT, was fucking awesome, and they should have waited, and they should have put it on this show on Sunday. That's my roundabout point that I'm trying to get to. It's taken me 10 minutes to get to that point. Why do you guys listen to my show? Let's start talking about the actual show. They have a kickoff. They're starting to put matches on the kickoff again, or the what are they calling it now? Pre-show, the kickoff. I was about to call it the buy-in because, yeah, that's been drilled into my head now. Intergender 8-person tag on the kickoff. Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, Yulisa Leon, Valentina Feroz versus The Metaphor, Noam Dar, Oro Mensah, Jakira Jackson, and Lash Legend. Now, here's the thing. I love women's wrestling. I don't care about any of the ladies in this match. Lash Legend is a character more than a wrestler, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Jakira Jackson I haven't seen enough of, and Valentina Feroz and Yulisa Leon are a tag team that's just kind of there. So my not caring about them isn't all on them. It is on how much I've seen them and how much they've been presented, etc. It's also on the fact that there's 3 other people in this match that are fucking awesome. Noam Dar I've been a fan of for a long time. Nathan Frazier I'm getting to know now, and Dragon Lee's just debuted recently, so that's how much I know about him as well. Oro Mensah is just kind of there right now, playing a sidekick character to Noam Dar in this whole metaphor thing. It's a fun pile of people match. You guys know how I feel about those. I will say, the one nice thing that I can say about this 8-person intergender tag is that it eliminates the big problem that I have with most intergender tags. Because most intergender tags, especially on the main roster, are a guy and a girl versus a guy and a girl, or 2 guys and a girl versus 2 guys and a girl. You can absolutely not, what's the word I'm looking for? You cannot use proper tag team psychology in a match where if I tag in, somebody else has to tag as well. So, you can do that in this match because there's 2 women that can double team each other and isolate somebody in the ring and have quick tags and whatever, and you can do the same thing with the guys. So there's really, realistically, it's not a mixed tag. It's 2 tag team matches happening at the same time, which is fine. I'm not going to be setting off fireworks like it's the 4th of July, pun intended, for this match. I am looking forward to it. Nathan Frazier, Dragon Lee, I think Dragon Lee was the one that was shown in the audience at SmackDown last week because they were in Florida and a bunch of NXT people showed up. He was shown in the audience with Wesley because Wesley, Dragon Lee, haha, they must be brothers. They haven't done that joke to death. Yeah, I don't know. Noam Dar, Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier should be on the main roster, in my opinion. Noam Dar was part of the now defunct Cruiserweight division, so he technically has been on the main roster before. I underscore the word technically. I do think the faces are going to get a win here. The story here is Noam Dar's obsession, excuse me, Noam Dar's obsession with the Heritage Cup. Now, the Heritage Cup is not that prestigious in WWE, not going to lie. It was the NXT UK Heritage Cup, but that's when there was an NXT UK. For anybody that doesn't know, and I don't blame you, there's probably a lot of you, Noam Dar brought the Heritage Cup to NXT. He carried it around for a while. He was then injured, so his friend Oro Mensah defended it on his behalf and lost it to Nathan Frazier. And then he sort of went into this sort of catatonic state. They were sort of wheeling him around Weekend at Bernie's style. Yes, I did steal that from What Culture. It's fine. And then the Metaphor got him his own trophy, and that brought him back to life, so now there's 2 trophies. It's just like Shawn and Razor with the 2 IC belts, except it's absolutely not. It's silly. The Metaphor is a silly group. Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier are just, let's see some good flippy shit. The faces are probably going to win. I would have liked to see a rematch for the Heritage Cup, or the what are they going to call it? The WWE Undisputed International Heritage Cup. Give me a triple threat with Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, and Noam Dar somewhere down the line for that. I was going to say for that cup, but the Heritage Cup rules don't really lend themselves to triple threat scenarios, so I don't really know what I'm saying here. Have Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier face each other. The winner has to face Noam Dar for the Undisputed Cup, whatever the case may be. It should be a lot of fun. It's the kickoff. Even if it bombs, it doesn't really matter. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. Moving on. First actual title match. The other thing about that is it means the Heritage Cup itself isn't actually being defended on the show, which is a bit of a bummer if you want that title to be taken seriously. Defended on a pay-per-view. But hey, what do I do? Sorry, premium live event. I do the wiggly Simon Miller fingers. First match on the proper card is Dirty Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley in his corner. Obviously, Rhea Ripley's probably one of the biggest draws on this pay-per-view, and she doesn't even have a match. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Versus Wesley versus Mustafa Ali. Now, all of Judgment Day, 4-on-1 on Wesley last week cost Wesley his North American Championship, put it on Dominic Mysterio. He defended it on SmackDown, Raw, etc. We don't need to do that. I like Mustafa Ali's anger here because he's been screwed out of a shot, but also he's kind of pissed off at Wesley for being dumb enough to have an open challenge when Mustafa Ali was next in line. So he wants the title from Dom, because Dom happens to be the one holding it, and Mustafa Ali is just pissed off at Wesley for almost costing him that. Rhea Ripley sort of threw it out there, yeah, Dom will defend it against both of you, that's fine. And then he's in the back, like, I don't think that's such a great idea, mammy. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Like, Dominic Mysterio, he is what he is. He's not the finished article by any stretch of the imagination. He's not pumping out 5-star classics, but he's not really letting anybody else down either. I mean, the last 3 matches we've seen him in were with Wesley, Pete Dunne, I'm not going to call him Butch, fuck that, and Sami Zayn. These are not hard people to have good matches with. Wesley, again, they've already fought. They know each other pretty well. Mustafa Ali is also awesome, like perpetually underutilized his entire career. I'm pretty sure that the sort of snarky middle of the ground kind of face, kind of heel character that he's got going on right now, he's got to be channeling some of the legitimate, when the fuck am I going to get something to do that isn't retribution. But that's fine. I think this match is going to be a lot of fun. The fact that it's a triple threat match, there's no rules, there's no disqualifications in triple threat matches. I definitely think Rhea Ripley's going to be out at ringside with him. If he gets himself into trouble, you're going to see a surprise appearance from Finn Balor and Damian Priest, if for no other reason than to say, hey, you got to tune into NXT pay-per-views. You never know what's going to happen. I predict Dominic retaining, and I predict Wesley and Mustafa Ali sort of getting absorbed into their own type of issue, because there's other people like the one I want to see, and I don't even know if it would work. I want to see Dominic Mysterio take on Axiom, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. I want to see him mix it up with some of the not-so-cruiserweights. Get him in there with people like Dijak and Von Wagner. That'll be a lot of fun. Dominic Mysterio versus Braun Breaker would be fucking hilarious. But also, Braun Breaker going for the North American Championship would be weird. Like, really weird. Yeah, Dom's gonna win. Pretty sure the rest of the Judgment Day is going to be there, and they're going to squash these two. People love Wesley. Mustafa Ali is kind of enigmatic as to character-wise how we're going to take him. So it is what it is. Dom's going to win. It's getting good attention on NXT, having Dominic Mysterio, who's part of this bigger thing with the Judgment Day that is the biggest thing in WWE right now as the Bloodline falls. It all makes sense, it all works, and these guys are going to make a hell of a showing of themselves. And to repeat myself once again, Wesley and Mustafa Ali are going to work their butts off to cover up whatever gaps Dominic Mysterio has in his game, which is fine. Tiffany Stratton, let's vote that I never do that again, taking on Thea Hale from Chase University, so obviously she's going to have Andre Chase Duke Hudson in her corner. Thea Hale's on crack, and I mean that in the positive way, not the Tony Khan way. Thea Hale, actually her opponent, Tiffany Stratton, said she's a living, breathing energy drink, and she's so fucking endearing, she's so fucking lovable. She's got, I compare Willow Nightingale in AEW/ROH to old school Bayley, in the sense that, you know, she might go in there as a loser, she might go in there as the underdog, she might go in there as, you know, the person that's going to be picked on and underrated and underestimated and all that kind of thing. But you get Willow Nightingale specifically in her match with Athena on the ROH pay-per-view. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's fucking good. It's worth the cost of the pay-per-view, and good for them for main eventing. Thea Hale is that on crack. Like, she got into Tony Khan's stash, and I absolutely love it because it's so weirdly genuine. And the Tiffany Stratton Barbie doll character, Tiffany Stratton's way underrated in the ring. Very, very cool. Knows her role entirely. And she's a fantastic wrestler as well. But her character, by its nature, is so fake that it makes Thea Hale, who comes off as so real, come off even more. There's no better opponent for Tiffany Stratton than Thea Hale. The fact that she was the youngest, they made a big point of her being the youngest person ever to be the #1 contender for that title, but I think it was sort of like within days of each other, so I don't think if she wins now, she'll be the youngest champion. Somebody can check that math for me. I'm not 100% sure on any of that. Thea Hale and Tiffany Stratton are the perfect opposites for each other, especially in weird, like NXT, not quite 2.0 land. It works. I'm going for Thea Hale for a bunch of reasons. A, because I just want that happy moment for her. It's like when I talked about the other week about Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville winning the tag titles. And so much of my enjoyment of that is knowing what both of them have gone through in their real life, specifically Sonya Deville. And you want to be happy for... It's one of those where you don't care about the kayfabe, you kind of want to be happy for the person. I have that with Thea Hale here, but also, selfishly, put Tiffany Stratton on the main roster. Like, she's ready to go to the main roster. And separate from that as well is the Chase University faction as a whole need to have something to crow about. If we are doing more crossover with NXT and main roster, I do think it would be face versus face, so I don't know how exactly they would do it. But I would love to see a trios match between Chase U and the Alpha Academy. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think you could do a lot of cool, like comedy stuff. You could do a lot of cool character stuff. Thea Hale is the young student of Chase U, and Maxine Dupree is the young student of the Alpha Academy. So the two of them could have a match, and then the guys get involved. I mean, Mr. Chase staring down Otis. Like, what does that even look like? So I think, in order for something cool like that to happen, for them to get a focus on them like that down the road, interacting with the main roster, you got to give them something to crow about. And I don't think you're going to be giving Duke and Chase the tag team titles anytime soon. So put it on Thea Hale, and she's a firecracker. I know that's a well overused cliche, but she is. She will make that title exciting. She will make the stories around that title exciting. If she goes off on somebody like Cora Jade as the defending champion, there's so much you can do with that. So I am pulling for Thea Hale to win this. I'm pulling for Thea Hale to win this because I want her to have it. I want Chase University to have it, but also I want to see Tiffany Stratton on the main roster. Thea Hale wins this. Everybody wins. Okay. Going over to Gallus and with Joe Coffey in their corner, obviously. I don't have Wikipedia up right in front of me. That's a lie that you made up. Gallus with Joe Coffey in their corner taking on the family, Tony D and Stax. I mean, they're winning. Like, that's... the whole story about Tony D being in jail for all the murders that he's committed, and then he got to get out of jail because Stax won a match on NXT. It's fantastic. This is why I love NXT. This is the kind of weird shit that I need in my life. Here's the thing. I like Gallus a lot. I really do. People shit on Gallus, and I don't get it. Other than the fact that they and their wrestling style are way too serious for this version of NXT, and that I get. They're out of place. But, like, I don't know, a marshmallow in an egg carton isn't bad. It's just in the wrong place. That is a shitty metaphor. I'm sorry. NXT brings this out of me a little bit. I mean, Tony D and Stax. I'm doing the voices. That's the effect that NXT has on me. Tony D and Stax are going to win, or it's going to be the long con where Stax actually was working with Gallus all along and got him out of jail so that he could put him out of business, I guess. I mean, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are fighting over the right to be called the tribal chief. If Stax turns on Tony D, they're going to be fighting for the right to be called the Dawn of NXT, are they? It's not that far apart. I mean, Tony D and Stax, if they... Thinking about this just now. They do have some backup. I can see because it's NXT, please understand, there's a certain level of entertainment on the NXT, this NXT brand as it currently exists right now. We've established that Tony D'Angelo and Dominic Mysterio have common friends from prison. So if Gallus tries to do the 3-on-2 or whatever, can you imagine the Gallus boys getting up in the ring? They're staring down Tony D and Stacks, and all of a sudden, out beside Tony D, you've got the North American Champion Dominic Mysterio. You've got Finn Balor. You've got Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. And you've got Mammy holding up her belt, taller than anybody else in the ring, by the way, and just, I don't know, Rhea Ripley blasts Joe Coffey in the face with the belt like she did to Wesley. And the Judgment Day do a favor for Tony D and Stacks, because if you've been in the clink, you know what it's like, and family looks out for each other. Then you bring Tony D and Stacks to the main roster, they join the Judgment Day, and everybody's happy. I don't know. There's a lot of fun possibilities with this, but the bummer about that is nobody's going to sink their teeth into the fun possibilities with this, because I think a lot of people give Gallus a bad rap. I don't think they're used properly. I think in the right scenarios they could be a lot of fun. You put Gallus, again, I'm going to say it, because every time there's an NXT pay-per-view, you want somebody to lose because that person wants to go up, or you want them to go up, whatever. Put Gallus on the main roster, have them have nothing but hardcore trios matches with guys like Imperium, guys like the Brawling Brutes. Have them be stupid enough to step up to what's left of the bloodline. Have them be stupid enough to go to Raw this coming Monday to get their revenge on the Judgment Day. Can you imagine the Coffey brothers and Wolfgang taking on Dominic, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest with Rhea Ripley in their corner? Like, the ridiculousness of, like, there's so much possibility with that. I'm getting excited talking about it, which is probably very, very obvious. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Tony D and Stacks, they're probably going to melt the titles down and make themselves some more jewelry, do some Razor Ramon shit. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Next up, we have the in-ring debut of Gable Steveson against Baron Corbin. And again, it's becoming a common thing for me. I start off my commentary on this particular match saying, what do you want me to tell you? Gable Steveson, everybody thought he was kind of boring, kind of awkward, until he was in Thorpe's corner when he took on, what's-his-face, in the NXT Underground match, and all of a sudden Underground is cool again. After the Underground match was over, the big story was Gable Steveson chucking everybody about. He came out this week on NXT. He was going to make his big decision. Do I want to go for another Olympic medal? Do I want to go for another NCAA championship? Or do I want to stay here in NXT? Well, I'm standing in the middle of an NXT ring. So, gee, I wonder what the answer is going to be. He got cut off by Baron Corbin. And again, I don't know what they're doing with Baron Corbin. I like this idea that they started off with. He's done all these stupid things. He's done all these stupid gimmicks. He's been the manager. He's been the smiley, happy guy. He was Commissioner Corbin or whatever he was. He was like poor, broke-ass Corbin. He was King Corbin. And now he's going to be the guy with no gimmicks. And then he sort of like wandered into the woods to find himself. And here's the thing, when they did the thing in the woods, and yeah, it was super literal, and he came face to face with himself. It was like Ethan Page versus the Karate Man. I get it, it was cheesy. But here's the thing, they did it in the woods at night. So they used torches so that it wasn't a blank black screen. People saw that, and were like, oh, tiki torches. He must be a white supremacist. Fuck off! That's all I've got. I don't have anything else for these people. And then in his promo this week, he says, you know what, you're the new fish in the pond and I'm the big great white. That's a shark! You fucking morons! Like, it does. I'm sorry, I don't want to be political on this channel. I try to avoid it at all costs. I really don't want anybody to come and burn down my house. But it does tie into the people that are mad that America is in the name of the pay-per-view. It does. It just does. Because people have no lives. And they want to be offended. And they want to be, they want to shit on somebody, but they don't have any what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have any ammunition. And it's like, oh, well, I'm this and you're this, so this must be this. No, they used torches in the woods because they knew a video package of a blank black screen would be boring as shit and wouldn't work. The Great White Shark, Sheamus used to be called the Great White, and they were making fun of him. People do my head in. I really hope this match blows everything out of the water. Shark pun intended. Gable Steveson he's an entirely unproven commodity in this arena. I mean, you can come in, you can do a guest spot, you can chuck some people around. That's not the same as you having a booked match. Baron Corbin, much like Mustafa Ali, has to walk around with a chip on his shoulder now. Has to be really, really trying to, like, okay, I've done all these different things. He even hinted back to the old Lone Wolf from the original Black and Gold NXT. And even that didn't work. So he's really trying to find himself. And that's the story right now. And that's cool. But in real life, they've got to be trying to find what actually works for this character. And that's fine as well, because the guy gets shit on. The guy gets shit on because he talked about how well he likes his steak done on Twitter. On X. I really hope, for all the people that want to shit on this, for all the people that want to shit on Baron Corbin specifically, because apparently he's a white supremacist now because he can't see in the dark, and the people that, you know, probably listen to the wrong country song and don't like the name of the pay-per-view, I hope this match blows everything out of the water. I really, really do. Gable Stevenson's the debuting talent. He's obviously going to win. That's not even a question. But god damn. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm over now. You know what's going to be cool? You know what's going to be really cool? The Weapons Wild match between Roxanne Perez and Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport was revealed to be the one that was beating everybody up in the parking lot because it was supposed to be Indy Hartwell, but Indy Hartwell got snatched up to the main roster. Blair Davenport, I know that she was in NXT UK for a while. I don't remember that much about her, and I've only been watching NXT intermittently. This will be my first chance to really see you know, lights on bright and all that kind of thing, what she can do. Roxanne Perez is, again, she's another one like Thea Hale. She hasn't been into Tony Khan's cocaine like Thea Hale has, but she's just another one of those ones that gets you on side within the first 5 seconds of a match. She's fantastic. I really do love, like, the Proud Papa vibes that you get from Booker T on commentary every time that she has a match. I think that's fucking awesome, and I think trying to hide that would be an incredible disservice to both of them. It's going to be a Weapons Wild match. They did the thing where they beat each other up in a convenience store, much like Austin and Booker T did back in the day. That was a lot of fun. People took the piss out of that too. It's like, oh, look at all those extras. They must be from the Performance Center. So fucking what? God damn, you people don't know how to have fun. And this match will be fun. Roxanne Perez, since being sort of out of the title picture, has sort of become like the steward of the women's division. And I think that's really cool. But for her to stick up for the whole locker room and be the one to say, no, you did this to all of us, you did this to my friends, you did this to my fellow superstars, I'm going to take it out on you, is a really cool story, and it does prove that you can get, what's that, 3 women's matches on this card. 3 women's matches on this card. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this makes 7, 8 women featured on your pay-per-view card. Tony Khan, are you paying attention? Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams in his corner taking on Ilya Dragunov to defend his NXT Men's Championship. Carmelo Hayes is, oh my god, ready for the main roster. The chink in the armor here is Trick Williams, his sidekick, his double, his heavy, his whatever, has a bigger problem with Ilya Dragunov than he does. They had the trios match on NXT this week. Yes, it was Can They Coexist, but it was Can They Coexist for the purposes of pushing the story forward. Ilya Dragunov hit Trick Williams with an errant dropkick and sent him into the steps. Trick Williams called him out at the end of the night. They brawled. Ilya Dragunov hit Carmelo Hayes with a stray shot. It's one of those, the two combatants actually respect each other and actually wanted each other at 100% for this match, and it's the guy on the outside that's got the problem, so the dynamic of it is kind of cool. Is this where Carmelo Hayes tells Trick Williams to chill, and Trick is like, nah, go fuck yourself, I'm gonna go deal with this issue because I have an issue, and then the two of them split. I know nobody wants Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams to split up. Ilya Dragunov, here's the thing, I don't think he's the main champion for a brand. I do think he's really fucking fun to watch, and he'll be a really cool counterbalance to the really overly charismatic, not spot heavy, but much more gymnastic style of a Carmelo Hayes. So here's where I have to do that jumble in my head. Ilya Dragunov probably won't be the champion. He'll go in, he'll have a great match, he'll lose here, and I guarantee, maybe I don't guarantee it, but I do heavily predict that the rumors that we've all heard about Ilya Dragunov becoming the 4th member of Imperium and maybe helping Imperium screw over Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam make a lot more sense if he's not the NXT champion. But here's the thing as well, on the other side of the coin, the downside of that is Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are ready for the main roster like yesterday. Throw them in the tag division, throw them in the singles division, let Trick Williams just have matches with other big Trick Williams versus Bronson Reed. That's just off the top of my head. Carmelo Hayes versus Seth Rollins. That's just right off my head. You know, these two versus the Usos, these two versus the Street Profits. These two, ironically, would have some really fun matches with a team like Alpha Academy. These two would have amazing matches with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens apparently seriously injured, along with Liv Morgan. So good, positive thoughts out to both of them. So the thing is, Carmelo Hayes is a better NXT champion. Ilya Dragunov's not. But Carmelo Hayes is also the better call-up. Ilya Dragunov will be like sidekick number 4 in one thing, and Carmelo Hayes could... I don't want to use the word game changer, that's very cliche, but like he could make a punch pretty immediately if he came up to the main roster. So they're equal in the sense of could they both be called up. So now I got to bring it down to who's the better champion for this brand, and the better champion for this brand is Carmelo Hayes, unfortunately. Ilya Dragunov honestly is another one that would be really hilarious to see go for Dom's North American Championship. So that maybe that could be like sort of a sideways lateral move for him for that. So yeah, let me run down this this card again. I got super hot and heavy on some of them. Didn't mean to do that, if I'm completely honest. Dragon Lee and friends are going to win the 4-on-4. Dirty Dom's going to retain. Thea Hale is going to become the new women's champion. The family, Tony D and Stax, are going to be your new tag team champions. Gable Stevenson's gonna defeat Baron Corbin, and I hope it's the best match of the night so that all the right people can be told to go fuck themselves. Roxanne Perez, I see Blair Davenport winning this one because I see this thing going for more than one match. So the heel gets the first one, Roxanne gets the next one. And kind of by default, I'm going to say Carmelo Hayes retains. I do think we see some Judgment Day interference in Dom's match. I do think we see Judgment Day potentially come back and help the family. It'll be alright. Anyways, let me know what you think about NXT Great American Bash, about all the other topics that I have ranted about this evening, and I will talk to you later. But for right now, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all of these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to you about later, but for right now, tag it out. Bye, guys.